Hey guys, so I wanted to make this video to show some of the people out there who don't know how easy it is for them to switch out their Glock sights by themselves. I know there's people who take their guns to gunsmiths to have it done, or they'll buy an expensive sight pusher tool. I mean, and that's all fine if that's what you want to do, but it really is super easy to do it by yourself. I did just pick up this G48 slide from Big Tex Outdoors. And funny enough, it came with a damaged front sight. It looks like it got dropped at some point and got dented, which I don't really care about because I already had planned to replace these out. That's typically one of the first things I do when I buy a Glock. And I just wanted, again, to show you guys how easy it can be to do it yourself. The first time I ever changed any sights out whatsoever is when I was doing my first G19-ish build. Just to show you, no magazine in the gun. Chamber's empty. I got this slide from Hex Precision. It is one of their ready-to-ship slides. It came with the dovetails already cut, and there's just a hole for the front sight, which I'll show you in a minute. And I watched a video done by Dave Dawson showing how to change these sights out yourself. Hex Precision does say on their websites that they do make their tolerances tighter than the factory from Glock, so that some fitting would be required. Not sure how that's going to go with this G48. When I did my first set myself, as you see, this is my little drill press vise that I have. I don't have a workbench. This is kind of it, my desk / workbench. So I don't have a normal vise. This served its purpose fine for me. I guess I could probably drill some holes in my desk here and then clamp it down or screw it down in order for it to fit. I just haven't had the need to do so yet. So all the tools that I needed in order to change out the sights were this aluminum punch, which did come with my Dawson Precision rear sight, which is on this G19 build here. This is also a Dawson Precision front sight, and he also includes a front sight wrench with it. So that was pretty handy. So besides the vise, little cheap Harbor Freight hammer. Of course, the aluminum punch, and you definitely want to use aluminum and not steel. I think Dave actually recommends using brass, but this is what I had and what came with it. Obviously, if you don't buy Dawson Precision sights and you don't have this punch, you could probably find an aluminum punch or a brass punch. And then also this little needle file set that I got from Harbor Freight as well. Super easy installing these, just took a little bit of time. Again, I encourage you to go look up the video. I think I searched Dave Dawson Glock sight install or something like that, and you'll come up with your results. Again, I'm not too sure what I'm going to encounter with this G48. Being that I did buy these AmeriGlow sights for my G48, I'm going to try just tapping them in and seeing if I do need some profiling done on the sights or some fitting. I'll do that, and I'll show you how simple that is also. So starting with your slide. Again, Glock sights are super easy to do because the front, there is no dovetail. Looking in the hole here, you've got a small screw, which you can't see in this lighting, but there is, right there, a screw in there. Just take this tool. I think I got it from Amazon. It's cheap. Got this along with the Glock takedown tool. I think I paid $8 for the set. No big deal. I really needed the wrench more so than the other because I did not know at the time that the Dawson front sight would include the tool to do it. But I do like this one because there's a plug in there, the camera will focus, which keeps the screw head from falling in because it is a very shallow headed screw. Just put it in there, back out your screw. And you see, like I was talking about, it is a very shallow head. And it keeps it, especially when you're going to install the new front sight, from falling down into the driver here. So definitely very handy. Once you get that screw out, front sight just pops on out. As you see, there's an oval cutout, which the new sight has also. So for the most part, it will stay pretty much lined up, but I'll go over that more when I get to that part. Now it comes to getting out the rear sight. So as you see here, I'll take my little drill press vise that I picked up for, I believe it was $18 on Amazon. Definitely want to use some rubber jaws or a piece of wood or leather and not just clamp down steel vise jaws onto your slide, because you will damage it. So I don't remember where I heard it, but I believe that sights are supposed to be driven in from the left side and driven back out that side. So I don't know if that applies with Glocks, but that's what I'm going to do. So I will take my aluminum punch, which I seem to lost. So now I'll take my aluminum punch, put a little bit of blue tape on there just to make sure a little extra protection that I don't end up marring up the slide if I make contact with it. So I'll show you how easy it is to drive this out. As I mentioned before, this isn't even clamped down, and it is going to move a little bit, but and there you go. That's all there is to remove the factory rear sight, plastic rear sight. Looks like it's got a little metal sleeve in there and a spacer. Yeah, and that's it. No, it's pretty much garbage because I'll never use these again. And if you see here in the dovetail, it's clean. No damage done with the aluminum punch. The finishing is all intact. And from here, we will start to go and install the rear. So the rear sight, from what Dave Dawson says, is that it bows very slightly in the middle of the dovetail here. It's a tighter tolerance than it is from the outside. So taking my Ameriglo sight, you know, he does mention installing it with red Loctite. To be honest, I did not do that with my G19 build. Though there is a set screw down there in the middle, or a retaining screw, but it was so tight punching it in. You know, again, I did have to do some filing to it and some fitting, but it was so tight that I didn't feel like driving it back out to install the red Loctite. Maybe that's a mistake. I'm not sure, but well, I guess time will tell. Hasn't moved on me yet for the range trips I've gone with it. So as you notice, rear sight, it's been dovetailed. When you start sliding it into the groove, it gets tight about right here. So this is the first time that I have ever installed sights that I don't think I will need to do fitting on, so this might be a little interesting. So this probably work a lot better if I had it clamped down. We'll see how this works. So as you see, it is about halfway there. This may require some fitting. It seems to be going. All right, so I did go ahead and try to be a little bit more secure with this setup and clamped it down with some C-clamps. See if that helps out. Check it out here. All right, so this is going to require, it feels like it's hitting a brick wall. So following the advice of Dave Dawson in his video, you know, considering that it is not quite past the halfway mark, I am going to go ahead and do some pre-fitting on this. All right, so I decided that I was going to go ahead and move the camera so I could get a little bit better positioning on here instead of this thing sitting between my legs and me trying to tap it. So I did get up so I could get on it sideways and really get some good solid position in order to drive that in. And it did go in without having to do any pre-fitting whatsoever. So that's good. Do want to show you now how I line up to get the sight centered. How do you figure that out? So see here, looks pretty good by eye. We said there's a slight little mark there that's just, I don't even think that's in the finish. Probably rub that right off. I think that's just tape residue. Anyway, you get it centered about as much as you can. Pretty simple. Do by eye, and then get yourself a pair of calipers if you don't already have them. And what I will do is measure from one side of the slide to the edge of the sight, like so. Sorry, get that to finish. So I'll measure it like this, from the side of the slide down to the side of the sight, and then I will compare it. You see, the right side currently says it's at 0.97. And the left side is at 0.86. So looks like I need to move it, drift it a little bit more this way.